analyzed. IBM is working on cognitive computing on this Watson. That's if it works, it is again going to be a huge jump for IBM if the Watson product clicks. And they are putting a lot of hope on Watson because it's a breakthrough product that they have created. So on this note, what I'll do is we'll start the panel discussion. So can we have Mr. Udayan Banerjee? He's a CTO in NIIT. He'll be taking the next session. So Mr. Udayan Banerjee, Senior Vice President, NIIT Technologies. Mr. S. Anand, he's Senior Director Product Strategy in Oracle. Ms. Some of the standards issue. And Mr. Tarun from McAfee. Give you 5 minutes time. You just turn around your table, form a round table, or just face each other, don't round table. And any questions you have, one person plays the role of a scrum master. Basically, one person just collects the question. He doesn't discuss it. What we'll do is, so each of these 3 rows, if you can just come up with a set of questions, these 3 rows come up with a set of questions, these 3 rows come up with a set of questions. And how we'll do is, we'll go from each of these groups. Most of the groups will have similar questions. So if a group feels that that question has already been addressed, they can strike it off. So this is the way how we'll do. So can we start this exercise? We have 5 minutes time. The trigger point is, you look at the agenda, you'll get a lot of points that are being covered in cloud. I know most of you are new to this cloud, but you can get the words. So we have Tarun Krishnamurthy. He will be talking on security in data centers and cloud. So some of those concerns, some of the questions that you have, you can ask him. Or if you have any questions which are not part of this agenda, that also you can ask. Your time starts now. It's 10:12 by my watch. So at 10:17, the clock will stop ticking. And this is your time. Any questions you have, just ask. It can be as simple as, I still do not know what is cloud computing. Ask it now. And we want to address these questions now. So that when the track starts, you are now fully equipped with the right knowledge. Similarly, can we have these two tables together? What you can do is, one of you can just write the questions also and hand it over. They just have to note down the questions. That's it. No, you don't have to provide the answers. Don't worry. Okay. Yes. From this group, who wants to note down the questions? Abhishek, very good. From this group, who wants to note down the questions? From this group, anyone just can volunteer? Okay. So whoever is taking down the question, try to make it informative. It's a group discussion. Make sure everyone asks. Okay. Make it participative. We are trying to make this a participative panel discussion. So, and we have very less time. Time is ticking. More minutes. See, in conferences, you have to participate. You'll go to many cloud conferences where the organizers will be happy that you are, and just participate. As much as possible, participate. So how many groups are ready? Okay, this group is ready. We have last 2 minutes now.
If you have multiple questions, one you can write up and hand it over to the person. They can just write it. It's not going to This is an opportunity for, others to guess. If you don't have a question now, it's not mandatory that everyone should have it. Of course, if I have a question like what is cloud computing and it got answered, I don't have a question.
By the time we cover the whole room, most of the questions will get answered. This has been our experience, but let's see whether Bangalore surprises us. Yes, so what's the first question? Ladies and gentlemen, can we have your attention please? So we have the first question with us.
My name is Mohammed and I'm from Sweden. So the first question I have is, what are the disadvantages of cloud?
Let's hit the nail. Excellent question. So we'll have the panel members. What are the drawbacks or disadvantages of cloud? Can we have a minute each? Everyone can just share when cloud is, or maybe I can just add to the question. When do you think cloud may not be needed? Yes.
Well, I guess there are several instances where you don't need a cloud. Right? If you want everything to be, like you were saying, private and held close to your heart, then you don't need the cloud. Right? But if you want to interact and interface with several partners in the ecosystem, and you want to also share information and vice versa, right? You want to benefit from what data is being gathered by somebody else. You want to correlate, be it for ad or be it for big data analytics, right? Then you need to go to the cloud. Now, that is one probably reason. The other thing is, I think the reason why people are not going to the cloud was the security, and I will talk a little more about it a little later, is people are afraid what can happen when you go to the cloud. So, to answer your question a little more pointedly, what's the disadvantage? If you don't have the right security, then you're probably putting yourself at risk. And its question comes down to your risk tolerance. What is it that you are willing to accept as a risk? So when you go on the road, you entail a certain amount of risk. So if you stay at home, can you be completely safe? That is kind of the judgment call you need to make. So we'll let others answer as well.
So there was this survey done by McKinsey, and they announced it at the McKinsey at the NASSCOM conference last year, that they surveyed the applications in the large enterprises and their readiness or barriers to take them to cloud, right? And the conclusion of that survey, and this was a global survey for large enterprises, that their conclusion is that 80 to 90% of the applications within the large enterprises could be moved to the cloud. There are no business or technical reasons why they should not be moving them to the cloud, right? So given that, it's really a trade-off, right? Cloud is just another way of meeting your IT needs, right? I mean, we talk about utilities, IT as a utility. So even with electricity, right, you end up still having a generator in some cases. Why? Because your public distribution system is not reliable. So it's a trade-off that you make. So when you're moving things to the cloud, You are gaining in flexibility, you are gaining in scalability, you are gaining in cost, right? And not having to have the headache of doing a capex, maintaining an IT department. So you are gaining in all of those. But you are losing in certain things in terms of your control, in terms of customization to your particular need, right? And maybe the guys from the high performance computing era domain are very skeptical about the kind of performance that they can get over the cloud, because obviously you are trading off something in getting things from the cloud. But as technology is evolving, where the compute power available is so much that so it's again application dependent. So you need to be very clear on what your SLAs are and what are the trade-offs you are making to make a decision whether cloud is the right choice for you for your application, long term and short term.
So, thank you. I'm Anand from Oracle. So, I mean, to answer the question in a very different way, bluntly, there is no disadvantage to moving to the cloud. You have to decide whether it's the private cloud or the public cloud. That's the only two options the world is moving towards. We are at an inflection point. 25, 30 years back, it was the mainframe. We moved to the client server, and now we are entering the cloud era, period. You could be the CIA, you're moving to a private cloud. The NSA is a private cloud. Done. End of story. Everybody is moving to the cloud for every application. The decision point is public or private or hybrid, as was explained earlier. So there's no disadvantage whatsoever, in my opinion, taking a contrarian point of view. It's just an inflection point. The mainframe era ramped down, the client server ramped up. At this point, the client server / internet is ramping down, the cloud is ramping up. 5 years from now, you wouldn't ask the question.
Yeah, so after 3 panelists have answered, it becomes very difficult to answer the question. But let me say, is that the right question to ask? Why? Yeah, why I'm saying that is that is cloud is the objective to move to the cloud, or is your objective to run your business for any organization? And if you're running your business, then you have certain business problems for which you're looking for a solution. And when you're looking for a solution, you evaluate which is the best solution given your context. And in the context, you might find that the cloud is the best option, and you might find in some other context that the cloud is not the best option. So instead of starting from asking the question, when should I use cloud and when should I not use cloud? Probably you should be asking, what is my business problem? Which is the business problem that I can solve with the cloud? And solve very well, probably transformationally. And that's where should be the starting point.
I heard all the good things about the cloud. So if I have to move into the cloud, I need to know the disadvantages also.
Yeah. Right? So just to summarize what everyone has said, one is that it is important. Can you hear me? Yeah. Yes. So cloud security, of course, has emerged as a major problem. Other is the vendor lock-in, where we have a body which is trying to address the interoperability. So vendor lock-in, that means if you go to a particular cloud like AWS or Azure or Oracle's cloud, now how do you then move to another one in case you are not, so that migration is a problem. So there are various issues. Maybe that's the question. What are the challenges in cloud? Do you want to quickly address the challenges apart from security? You want to address the interoperability and I know you're talking in brief, but just in brief, maybe a minute.
Well, I'll be addressing that at length, issues related with interoperability. But if you look at where cloud is today, so as he mentioned, it's either Google or Microsoft Azure or IBM or Amazon that you if you want to move on to the public cloud, right? And if you're getting into the private cloud, some of the these are not interoperable amongst themselves. So it's like the old days of internet, when if you wanted email, you logged on to a service provider like America Online, and when you got email only through America Online, right? Or there were a few service providers. But then the internet happened, and it's become a totally different business model, totally different world, and that's where cloud is today.
But
that
don't you
is
think that
interoperability.
interoperability is primarily an open source community request? Because if you really see, traditionally companies were having an enterprise architecture and they were choosing either to go for IBM products or Microsoft technologies, and at that time interoperability did not arise. Why it is arising now? If a company chooses Amazon, why is the need for interoperability? Why the need for this?
Same thing like you said, vendor lock-in, right? So people want to, and so they want more flexibility in how they can run their applications. There are multiple use cases, right? So if for your disaster recovery, it's I would say take the analogy of the mobile world where it has moved, right? In the early days, if you went to Tata or Airtel, you were using their infrastructure. Now they enter into deals where they can have subscriber. The mobile number portability has been brought in just to allow make the business more flexible, and technically that is interoperability. Same thing is happening in this space.
Right. So if cloud is one of the benefits of cloud is flexibility. So that's a problem, because now in cloud when you say you have the flexibility, but vendor lock-in is still doesn't allow that, to a large extent. Let's move on to the next group and take the next question. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, this is Sujan from IBM. My question is regarding the service layer in cloud, that is service layer virtualization. What my question is, let's say there are so many people in this room and everybody want to deploy a database in cloud, let's say DB2 database or Oracle database. So is there any way we can customize the database? Let's say 100 people want to use the database in a different way, 100 people want to use in a different way.
Just a correction. All the people want to deploy the database or access the database. They're two different things. Deploy means that they are all want to deploy a database so that others can use it.
No.
Access
the database,
okay.
Access the database
Yes.
in a customized way. Is that possible?
Okay.
Sure, the short answer is yes, right? I mean, end of the day, cloud exists to solve a business problem, and that's really what I think the fundamental thing what Udayan was talking about, right? Go back to your business problem. If you have a business problem that demands some sort of application functionality that demands you to either do something, for example, a visa processing system, which could be different for different countries. Like you are a centralized visa bureau, you want to create a cloud application to service entry points to create your application for Ireland, US, UK, and so on. Of course, the cloud is going to provide you that. The short answer is yes, right? I mean, how you do it, the nuance, you need a database as a service, you probably need a programming metaphor. It could be a Java or a .NET environment available as a service. You really want to scale it up, scale it out, do all of the good stuff. But the short answer is yes, it does provide you the flexibility. It has to. The cloud exists to support the business. And that's the most important piece that I think everybody has to get back to.
Yeah, actually, if you are looking at cloud as an infrastructure as a service, which you are sort of saying, so whatever is possible in your local installation is possible in cloud, right? So whatever say Oracle provides as a Oracle software, and you have a cloud version of it, the same thing will be possible. So it's not going to be something different. That's the basic thing.
Yes. Let's move on to the next set. Yes.
My name is Senthil. I'm from IBM. My question is, major banks in India, they have data centers. Okay. So, and they have infrastructure within the data structure. They have hosted products like database server, core banking solution, and other products. So, what is the importance for them to migrate to cloud, and what are the advantages of getting into cloud for them?
We can just take that and then probably the other panelists will add, right? I mean, what we see worldwide, major banks, major large organizations have invested in captive data centers. So they have their own in-house data center. End of the day, what's happening is the demands for computing worldwide is skyrocketing. The amount of data being created is skyrocketing. And that's the whole thesis of the earlier piece. People are realizing that even within your own data environment, you essentially are going to manage a private cloud with virtualization. You are going to get much more optimization of your existing captive capacity. I mean, that's really why, if you take a look, every hardware vendor today is in decline. Every hardware vendor is in decline. What's really happening is the large consumers, who are the large industrial organizations, are realizing by moving to a private cloud architecture within their data center, they can do more with less. And they are moving a lot of their line of business applications to a public cloud, which tends to be multi-tenant. For example, Salesforce automation moving to salesforce.com. We are seeing human capital management completely moving to the cloud. So we are seeing a lot of applications being outsourced to a public cloud where you share everything. And people are keeping their core banking environment, like, at Oracle it's iFlex, or you could have a Temenos system, whatever the case may be. It's highly optimized in a private cloud. So the demands for their hardware is not increasing.